Welcome to Nathan Runs His Freakin' Mouth from Geek, Alabama. Nathan has a lot to say about today's current events, and with also being on the autism spectrum, he's not afraid to speak his mind. And now, here's your host, Nathan Young.
Hello everyone, this is my very first episode of the new podcast series I've been wanting to launch for a long time called Nathan Runs His Freakin' Mouth. And I can't believe I'm doing this finally, but it is time. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I just want, for me to being on the Asperger's syndrome, on the autism spectrum, I want to speak my mind. I want to finally just say what's on my mind because I'm getting tired of being quiet and just letting everything happen and letting see this country go down the tubes. So, for the first week of this new podcast series, I'm going to talk about the city where I live at and the big problems it has with a city election coming up in a little over a week. The city of Anniston, Alabama, is in really deep trouble, in my opinion. It's been decades of big problems in this city that we can't fix, it seems like. It's always me, and not us. We're not trying to fix this city. It's just a good old boy politics system in this city that keeps this city going down the tubes, and while this neighboring city, Oxford's doing well. So, this week, I'm going to talk about 10 things that Anniston needs to change if this city's going to come back. And I'm going to talk about the two big elephants in the room for episode 1, and that's the crime problem and the homelessness problem. And the crime problem in Anniston is well known, unfortunately. There's been multiple news articles, multiple stories, multiple statistics that rank Anniston as one of the most dangerous cities in the whole country. One of the most dangerous cities in Alabama, and one of the most dangerous cities in the United States. And that is, you can't have that. You can't have statistics saying you're the worst city in America, and the whole world reads it. And watches videos on YouTube about it. You can't do that. That kills Anniston. That's bad. So, sure, the crime rate's been going down a little bit, and that's good, but we still have a big crime problem in Anniston. I mean, where I live at, near downtown, every once in a while, in the fake distance, you can hear gunshots going off. Bang, 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 bang. You can hear it. I know where it's coming from. It's coming from the neighborhood across the railroad tracks, the poor area, Glen Audi area, or from the downtown area. You can hear the gunshots firing. And then you hear the police sirens of the fire trucks a couple minutes after the gunshots. So you know it was a gun crime. And it's just, you can't have that in Anniston. You can't be hearing gunshots all the time and watching people mug each other all the time. That doesn't help Anniston's reputation whatsoever. So, the Anniston Police Department has a new police chief, and I hope he can change things. But I'm not too optimistic about that right now, because I think, I don't think Anniston could solve the crime problem and get it way down until you fix the elephant in the room, and that's no jobs, poverty, drugs. When people have to work these low-wage fast food jobs or retail jobs, and they can't afford to live everywhere, they're going to turn to a life of crime to afford what they need to afford. And that's a big that's a big problem in Anniston. We haven't been able to attract any jobs. I mean, we've had 60 Minutes named this city one of the most polluted cities in the country. And their city government's not doing much of anything to fix things. Our current mayor and city council hasn't done a lot, frankly, in the last 4 years. And it's not just them, it's been every administration for the past 20, 30 years. This has been a decades-long problem for Anniston. I don't think he can do anything to fix Anniston right now. I mean, the crime problem is the number one problem in this city. I don't want to drive through a neighborhood and feel like I'm about to be robbed or mugged, because it's so bad. But the problem is, in Anniston, you have neighborhoods like that. And you have rundown homes, rundown buildings, and people that look like they're about ready to rob you at gunpoint. And it's near downtown. It's all around Anniston. And I commend our police department, but, they're trying to do the job they could do, but until you fix the crime problem in Anniston, nothing is going to change. It's going to continue to get worse and worse. And I mean, you must dramatically fix the crime problem, not just small drops. I mean, a major drop. It's got to happen if this city is going to come back. And one of the reasons why we have a high crime problem is because we have a high homelessness population as well. Anniston tried to, for some weird reason, to take a building that used to be a nursing home on that side of town where a lot of well-off people live in a good neighborhood. But we know, and unfortunately I know this from experience, homeless people are usually not very good people, unfortunately. They have mental problems or drug problems. I deal with this in the house I live at on Wilmer here, close to downtown. I mean, I have homeless people hanging out right in front of my home during the night. That has happened several times. So I had to make a sign saying no loitering. And I can't believe I have to do that in Anniston because we have a major homelessness problem. So, and about that building on Leeton that they were trying to make where the homeless shelter could have been, sure, that's one of the stupidest ideas that ever happened. You have good neighbors, good homes nearby, that the value would plummet if the homeless shelter opened right there. And you're going to ask homeless people to try to cross Quintard Avenue with people going speeding down the road 45, 55, 60 plus miles per hour. It was like playing a game of Frogger. You're trying to run across Quintard without getting hit by speeding cars. It was the stupidest plan ever. And I'm glad it finally got voted. It got voted down, turned down, because it wasn't going to work. All the homelessness, the organizations here in town called The Right Place, Interfaith Ministries, and the Soup Bowl, all of them are close together around the 15th Street area and just in the northern end of downtown. So where do you think the homeless facility should be at? Way on the other side of town where there's no organization to help the homeless, or close to where all the homeless organizations are at? If we're going to have a homeless shelter in Anniston, it needs to be off 15th Street in that little city center area, West 15th Street, close to where the Soup Bowl is at. That's where the homeless shelter needs to be at. And Anniston, you need to commit to something, because downtown Anniston has a major homelessness problem. I see it all the time. I mean, before the pandemic, they hang out inside the library. But now, with the pandemic, you see them sitting on benches. They come up to me all the time asking for money. I go to the laundromat on Quintard, and homeless people sleep in there all night long. Several of them, not just one. And of course, when I go late at night to do laundry, because of the pandemic, there's not many people there. There's homeless people there, and they're always asking for money or a phone or something. And the police can't keep running off the homeless people, because they'll just come right back. Anniston, it seems like Anniston's just given up on the homeless problem. And they just don't care about people being homeless. You're on your own, buddy. And if Anniston wants to see its downtown come back, if they want to see people move to Anniston, if you want to see big businesses maybe come to Anniston to good paying jobs, you must deal with the homeless problem. It must be dealt with now. When you get that bike trail extended from where it ends in Round River to where the train station at, just south of downtown, you will have homeless people hanging out on that bike trail. And they're going to be asking bikers for money. Or they're going to rob people for money. You know that's coming. I hope Anniston, when they get that bike trail station, I hope Anniston will invest in cameras and stuff. Permanent cameras, because they're going to need it. And that's just the first two things I'm going to talk about in Anniston, because I'm getting tired of it. Anniston, if you want to come back, if you want to be successful again, if you want to do something again, if you want to care about people, do something about the homelessness problem. Because you must do something or this city will die. Because somehow homeless people have gotten the idea that Anniston's the best place to come, and they come on Greyhound or Amtrak or somebody drives them here. You gotta tell homeless people, do not come to Anniston. They cannot come here. There's no services for them. Go somewhere else. I hate to be harsh, but that's the truth. Alright, well, thank you all for listening. Episode 1, I hope this will become successful. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you for listening to Nathan Runs His Freakin' Mouth. For more stories, videos, coverage, and podcasts, log on to geekalabama.com.